Hi guys, how are you doing? I want to keep this video relatively short and just say that through various circumstances and new information I recently came across, I am now convinced that the whole universe we live in is basically a matrix. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you are anything like me, like you used to or still do identify a lot with, for example, being a light worker or being new age or into the esoteric stuff, right? Chances are you probably think like I used to think just until very recently. You probably think that the so-called matrix, or let's say just the illusion of this world, pertains merely to the 3D world, to the what we think of as the physical realm, right? The material realm, like bodies and houses and cars and whatnot, right? And maybe also the money and the status symbols and stuff, right? I think most spiritual people or esoterically inclined people do think of this as the matrix, but tend to think that on the other side of this, once we pass over, once we die, or even for those who can already communicate with the spirit world or channel entities, for example, or um, read tarot cards. They think that the information that they are getting from those things or those other higher realms is the real truth or the actual truth. And I'm not so convinced of this anymore. Yeah, and I've had my doubts about a lot of, or at least some of the, narratives of the spiritual community, and especially a lot of the tarot readers I used to watch almost every day for a longer time now, because there were some things in those narratives and information that always seemed a little bit logically flawed to me, even though I technically understand that in a universe with different dimensions there are like sometimes somewhat contradictory or um, maybe even opposing, I don't know, forces or rules that apply to what level you are on or what frequency you are on. um, that being said, though, um, let me just give you some quick examples because, as I said, I want to keep this video short, right? So, firstly, in 2019, I started to study a lot of near-death experience reports, and um, along with some of the other esoteric information I already knew at this point or came across around that time, there was something that seemed weird about all of this to me. And it already said also in some, I don't know, articles or whatever I read, that it seems like every person after death experiences kind of what they expect, maybe not always what they really consciously anticipate, but also what's in their subconscious mind and stuff. That's what plays out in the afterlife, so to say. And that made me think that, well, if it's all just based on whatever you believe, then there has to be, like, I don't know, a more universal or deeper truth behind that layer once more, right? And yeah, that's like one of the hints maybe I already had about something that didn't yet make total sense to me. And then another example that kind of goes along with this is that in like the spiritual community, there is a lot of talk, for example, about ancestors, right? Helping us from the other side, basically watching over us, protecting us, or whatnot. And while I like this idea and it's kind of, nice and comforting, I always thought, wait a minute, if those people, if those people have transitioned years, decades, or maybe centuries ago, how do they still exist in some kind of spirit or thought form? Shouldn't they long have, returned to their true origin state, or whoever they came from? You know what I mean? Like, why are they still around somewhere in the spirit realm? That, to me, that it was nice for me, but for them, it kind of made me feel pity, because I thought, oh, that must mean they still haven't found salvation, right? If they are still around in some kind of spiritual or etheric form or whatever. And yeah, that was another one of those hints that made me kind of doubt like the esoteric narratives. And yeah, as you can tell by some of my older videos, I'm one of those people who always used to say like, the universe does this and that, or says this and that, or I feel like the universe wants me to do this and that. And now I'm not really sure what that means, because a statement like this actually makes no sense. Because, the universe, it just means that we are all one, or at least that we all come from the same source, right? And so I think this poem I wrote, I think in February, was probably pretty close to the truth without me knowing all the information that I know now. And that's why I would like to repeat it in this video. And it's the poem Life is Just a Dream. Life is just a dream. We dream ourselves into being, and we feel like we're real, but we are not. We're just fragments of God, walking around in avatars made of skin and bones and hearts, experiencing elaborate illusion. And now more than ever, I really believe my own poem because, I really think that even the spiritual dimensions are part of this one great illusion too, and that we are actually the creators of all of this, and that we need to own our power and our responsibility as the creators we are, which is pretty, well, from a human point of view, pretty challenging, I'd say. But I'm willing to try. I'm going to say it that way. And yeah, but I also now more than ever believe that the actual, in the community, most people call it source of, basically infinite wisdom and creativity and whatnot. We all come from, in its purest state, is somewhat different from this illusion we live in, and that there's really a lot of discernment and a lot of, I don't know, spiritual transformation, I guess, that needs to happen to be able to really connect with that, because I think it's outside of not just the physical but also the spiritual illusion. And yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. and till the next time. Bye.